All right, time for the water pump. Pro tip, the bolts with a 4 are actually for the timing cover. The bolts with a 6, or I think the other one is 7B, something like that, are the actual water pump bolts. The timing cover bolts are slightly longer, so I actually pulled these out of the 2.0 motor, out of the water pump, the number 4s. I don't know how they got it to seal with the bolt being too long, because when I did it, I broke it off because there was about 2 to 3 millimeters before it actually started clamping down on the water pump and it bottomed out in the block. But we got the right bolts now, so let's put the water pump on. Took the oil pump back off, took these screws back out, made sure I put Loctite on them. Remember if I put Loctite on them the first time, but they all have been Loctited and torqued. All right, onto the water pump. Let's see, install the water pump and gasket. We got water pump and gasket over there. Tightening torque, first, second, both 12 Newton meters. That's a little interesting. I might go around 5 first time, then 12, and 12. And then we basically just go around in a circle, A, B, C, D, E, F. Got the water pump and the gasket, only goes on one way. No RTV.
I don't regret that later. Oh, looks like there was RTV on the backside before. I tried to clean it off. Might have just been precautionary.
A little difficult to get some of the bolts started just because of the little rubber gasket right here in between the water pump and the oil pump. But I think they're all on. All right, 12 Newton meters. We start here, work counterclockwise in 2 stages. I'm gonna do 3. Gonna start the first one around 5 Newton meters. All right, this is the water pump bolt that I pulled from the 2.0 motor. I don't know where these bolts came from. They might have come from a different Subaru in the junkyard. I think I tried to snag some water pump bolts, but you can see there's about a 2, 3, 4, 5 millimeter difference right there. And you can see what happened. So these longer water pump bolts have been threaded in by hand and they stopped, but still a little bit of wiggle room in the water pump. That's how we broke off this one right here. I originally thought it was because of this little rubber gasket thing. I thought it was just causing too much tension on the pump, and maybe the bolt sheared off that way, but it is, those bolts are too long.
Bro, damn.
All right, I did get all the bolts in, and the pump is actually flush with the block, just with them being finger tight. You do have to put a little pressure on the bottom of the pump going this way because of this little black seal in between the oil pump and water pump. So we're gonna go around 12 Newton meters, starting here, going counterclockwise 2 times. That's what it says in the service manual. I am actually gonna start around 5 or 6 Newton meters first, go around once, then 12 again.
All right, did the first pass around 6 Newton meters. We should have the torque wrench set to 12 Newton meters. We're going to start here and move counterclockwise. 12 Newton meters. Please don't strip out. All right, that was round 2. Going around again at 12 Newton meters just to check everything.
All right, plan is now that we've got the water pump on is to move over some of these components that are behind the rear timing cover. It's going to be that bracket that holds the idler pulley, 2 coolant hoses, the dipstick. I don't know if we can take the dipstick out of the oil pan. I think we can. That heater hose that goes all the way to the back. We do need to figure out what's going on here, what happened. Looks like nothing's been there for a while. I don't know if coolant was leaking out of here or what's going on. It doesn't really look like it's plugged up, but we'll have to figure something out. And then on the back, there's just one more bolt back here.
I'm working on the tensioner bracket. This goes right behind the belt tensioner. I did order this little gasket. I think it's kind of not needed, but I went ahead and ordered it anyway. I just want to have it as close stock as possible. I'm going to wipe this down one more time. Wrong way, damn it. No. Am I stupid? Alright, low foam gasket installed. Let's put this on.
All right, we're looking right up there at the top T3. You can see the little tensioner bracket. Looks like it goes to those top 2 bolts and that bottom bolt. It looks like the tensioner bolt T4 goes right into it as well, but there's 2 holes back there. I think they just line up in the picture. And then you can see T3 24.5 Newton. All right, we got our gasket on. Fits right
Above the water pump, like this. 24.5 Newton meters. We got 25. Doesn't go half Newton meters. No torque sequence. I think I'll do it in little stages, maybe around 15. 15 or 17. Oh, can't get on that. There we go. All the way, 25. 25. 25.
All right, next step of stuff behind the timing cover so we can get the timing belt on is the dipstick, which I think just comes right out of the oil pan. Shouldn't be an issue. The other one is these heater bypass hoses, heater core hoses. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out where this little stubbed up end went. Ends up, it's capped off. This one doesn't really appear to be capped off, just super rusty. I don't know if it's clogged or what. We did a coolant pressure test before we pulled the motor for 2 other leaks, and we didn't see it leak in here. Obviously, we weren't looking right here, but everybody that buys this part to replace it is actually just capped off. So no issue there, except for it is pretty rusty. I do have a parts motor in the basement that does not have this little stubbed up branch off that coolant hose. So I was concerned about using that in case we needed it, but now that we don't need it, I'm just gonna pull that one off the other motor. We can put this on. This parts motor, you can see the same little line, doesn't have the branch. Does have a little dent right here, but the one on the other motor actually has this same thing here. I think it's just to make room for something else. And then this just goes to the throttle body, which will end up looping or capping off wherever it goes. All right, you can see right here, even on the little instructions or whatever, it doesn't show that little branch coming off. But T2 for the torque on those 2 screws holding these pipes in. This one I think actually goes through the timing cover. So we scroll down here, T2, 6.4 Newton meters. All right, it is a little rusty inside here, but this one is a lot cleaner than the other one. And how does this go? Something like that. And then these 2 hoses down here go on the water pump. Oh, can't even see. 2 hoses, water pump. Pretty sure top one goes to this top one, bottom one goes to that back one. We'll verify in just a second. Bent just a little bit, I think. So we gonna make an adjustment.
Beautiful. Alright, T2, 6.4 Newton meters. 1 up to 7. Should be fine.
I already took these off, but you can see the top one goes to the top pipe, and the bottom one, back one, goes to the bottom pipe.
Let's go put these hose clamps back. Should be good.
All right, cam seals. Already got the other 3 in. This is the left side intake. Just gonna take a razor blade and that little bit of RTV that squeezed out in between this little cam cap and the head, just so we have a nice area for the seal to go in.
Cam seal. Just got a little bit of oil. I'm gonna put it around the inside, the outside. Now these have been going on fairly easily. I did get a 39mm axle socket. Fits pretty well right there if you want to use this. And try and get it in. We can try to do this real quick. looking pretty good, a little high on this outside. I did take a look at the cam seals in the old motor, and they were slightly lopsided. They weren't, exactly symmetrical. The actual head protrudes a little bit further than the cam cap does, so it is going to be a little bit deeper on this side than this side. This one does look a little more lopsided than the other, so I'm going to try and even it out on this cam cap side. A little better, but we'll call that good.